Okay, let's have a little quick tour then of this very, very basic project, which we are then going to enhance. So I've kept all of the clever functionality out of this particular sample so we can build it together in true digital pro fashion. That's how I like to kind of walk through progressively and build some of these things up. So you can see on the left-hand side, I've just got some real basic widgets on the screen itself. There's nothing special going on here. You can see here that we've kind of got these page containers that's kind of containing our page container column, which is really just going to kind of allow us very shortly to kind of put a back-end query on where it's going to then kind of display all of the particular products within inside a list here. Again, I've done nothing other than kind of configure the look and feel to these particular widgets. So what we're going to do first is we're going to first create our first back-end query. Now, remember, Supabase is something that we're going to sort of pull data down into SQLite. So what we're going to do is all of the data that we're going to be displaying on our application is actually going to be coming from our SQLite database. It's going to kind of be, that's going to be the most important aspect of this particular application. And then we'll get to very shortly where we're going to kind of populate the data within SQLite. So let's get that bit set up first. Now, the way that SQLite works within inside a Supabase is that we need to define the actual SQL queries that we are going to invoke from the FlutterFlow UI here on the right-hand side. When we actually hit on this backend query, we're going to add a backend query, and we're going to need to call into a backend query that we have configured already within inside of FlutterFlow. So let's head over there now and do that. So what we're going to do, because we're going to be listing out a load of products here, we're going to want to display those particular products. We just need to do a select query to do that. So hit on the cog here on the left hand side. Let's move down here to SQLite, and we're going to go to a read query because that's exactly what it is. Hit the add query, and we're going to call this one quite simple. We're going to call this one list products, something like that. And then we are going to simply now write our SQLite query. Now, I always encourage you, if you are not familiar with writing queries to kind of pull data out, then please do use AI to help you out. We live in the modern world now where AI is all around us. And for people like myself who's been using SQL for many, many years, I kind of quite familiar how to do this. But for yourself, just use AI, punch in, you put your database schema and say, write me a query that's going to return me back all of my products, and it will generate that for you. So let me just type in here the query that I'm going to use. Okay, so I've typed in select star from local underscore products. Now that is my table name within inside my database, and order by ID. And I'm going to put these in ascending order. Now, if I wanted these to kind of be in descending order, then I could have just done descending like that. But I'm just going to list them in ascending order from 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. based on the ID. Now, once you've set up your SQLite query, that's great, but you do need to specify the output columns, because this is where you're going to kind of need to list these, so then FlutterFlow elsewhere in the tool can then hook onto those particular values to then display those within the widgets themselves. So this is purely what the output columns are all about. We're not going to pass any variables. We're not going to kind of manipulate this query based on what we're passing in. So we're just going to simply return all of the rows back and then display those within inside the UI. So I need to now define my output columns. Now, the key thing you need to do here is you need to match these up to your SQLite database schema. And remember, it was quite a simple table. We had kind of like text, we had numeric and all that kind of stuff. So that's exactly what I'm going to do here. So the first column I'm going to do is ID, and that is going to be of type integer. And I'm just then going to carry on adding in the rest of the columns here. Like we've got one called name here, which is a string. I'm just going to add that in there. Just do that. I'm going to put, say, description in there as well. I know that I've got that. And I'm going to keep adding these in. I'm just going to go through and create all the other ones, and then we'll come back and review what I've done. Okay, so I've added all of the rest of the columns, and you can see I've got stock quantity here. There's an integer. I've got a category, which is a string. Created that and updated that are both strings, and price is a double. It's as simple as that. Once I've got that, I just say add query, and that is all the magic that is needed. And I can now go back elsewhere into FlutterFlow, and I can now set up that backend query. Let's go and do that now. Okay, so back within the widget tree, then let's go to the page container. So we're going to want to kind of display all of the product containers that is based on every single row that we have inside our SQLite database. So with the page container column set, let's move up here to then the backend query, hit add query, and we're going to do a SQLite query. Just select that. Now, the only query that we got available is list products, which is the one that we just created. Hit list products and then hit confirm, and then hit confirm again. And what you'll now see is you'll kind of see this ghosted representation, which kind of signals that we are making a back-end query, and there's likely to be more than one kind of child within inside the page container column. Now, once we've got that, all I'm going to simply do here is I'm going to map the product name text onto the actual title, or at least the name of the product that I have with inside the SQLite database table. So just with the product name selected, I move up to text here, go to list products row like that, and all I'm going to simply do is choose the name option. Now, of course, we have all of these other ones available. So if you are building out your own kind of application, you can choose all of these kind of these other values. In this really simple example, we're purely only going to be displaying the actual name of the product. So just choose a name here. Everything's going to be good here. I'm just going to, for kind of from the UI perspective, I'm just going to call this one product name. Now this has no relevance to your application tool other than displaying it within inside the kind of the UI of FlutterFlow. I'm going to give this a default value of a space there, so it's always going to have something there, and then just hit product name, and that's all that we kind of need to do now. So if we were to now fire this up, that query will then take place, and then obviously we'll then see the products that's going to be in our database table. But at this particular moment, we have no products in our database table at all that we have within inside our project. We're going to need to then make some now changes to our application to kind of to retrieve those from Supabase, and then kind of then insert those into the database table. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, there is some further kind of queries that we need to build with SQLite that's going to be really important to our application. So let's head over there now and let's create some more queries. Okay, so let's hit the cog on the left-hand side here. Let's move to SQLite and let's move to the update queries. And we've created none so far. Let's add a brand new query. Let's start with one very simple one, and that's to delete all of the products from our SQLite database table. So I'm just going to call this one delete all products, and then this is going to be a straightforward delete. Simple as that. Delete from local products. That is as simple as it comes. It's going to delete all the records from our table. So just hit add query. That one's done. Now the next one we're going to do is, this is going to be a quite important one, because this one is to insert a brand new record into our database. Now this is going to take a little bit of configuration to get this kind of set up, but hopefully what I'll do is I'll put the query name in there and the SQLite, and then we'll walk through exactly how all of this works in just a moment. Okay, so I called the query name insert a local product, and my SQLite query is insert into local products, which is our table name. And here are our table columns: the ID, the name, the category, the price, stock, quantity. Exactly. These all need to match up, of course, with your database table. And then the values are going to come from the variables that we're going to populate when we kind of execute this particular query with inside the action flow editor with inside FlutterFlow. So what we're going to do is we now need to create all of the variables, which is going to be very similar to what we did previously when we set up the previous query. And then what we're going to then do is, once we've done that, we set all of these up, we're then going to start adding them actually in here, and they need to match up, of course, to the order that they're specified here. So we're going to kind of more reference them from down here and kind of add them up here, if that kind of makes sense. So let me go through now and add all the variables in just like we did before, and then we'll come back to the query, and then we'll carry on then setting that up. Okay, so here we are then. I've created all of the variables here. I've kind of created these in the order they're up here, but it doesn't really matter which order you create them here, as long as you reference them up here in the correct order. So the first one is going to be ID. Now, just between the opening sort of bracket we got there, I'm going to put a dollar symbol and a curly opening brace there, and I'm just going to type in ID, just like that. Now, this is an integer field, so with an integer field, you don't need to kind of put any sort of single quotes either side. Okay, so you'll see that now when I come to do the name, because the name is a string. We now need to do comma, and then we need to do a single quote there, and then I'm just going to do a dollar symbol, opening curly brace there, and I'm just going to say name, and then close that back off, and then do a single quote there. So that's going to then represent the string. And the same thing I do, I'm going to do comma, and I'm just going to do a single, and then do that, and then I'm going to type in then category, and then do a closing curly brace there, and a single quote. So as simple as that. So I'm going to carry on now, and I'm just going to go through that pattern, making sure that all of these are matching up to the ID of the columns that we've got here, and we'll come back and then we'll double check what I've done. Okay, so there we go. I've got them all in there, all in the right order. I don't think I've made any mistakes there. I've kind of made sure I've got all of my text ones. I've kind of got single sort of quotes around. Everything else, this is kind of like a numeric field here. The stock quantity is an integer. That doesn't have to have any single quotes. And that is simply it. So this will simply insert all of the values that we got here as a brand new row into our SQLite database. It comes as simple as that. And I'm just going to hit add query, and that is all done. So that's our read query done, and that's our update query done for the moment. Let's now move on to the next bit. Okay then, so just before we get into the meat of creating the actions it's going to call out to Supabase, we want to create a couple of app state variables just to keep track of a few things, and we'll show you how they are implemented in the action flow editor very shortly. So let's go ahead and create those. So let's move over then to the app values. Let's add app state variable here, and I'm just going to give this one a name here. So it's called products change date time, and this is going to be of type a date and time, and it's going to be persisted. Now this is going to store the latest date that our products have actually changed. It's kind of there for tracking purposes, and I'll show you where I set that, because we're going to kind of take the value that kind of comes from the database table. We're going to, this is the last changed date from that particular table. We are going to check to see if that particular time is greater than the time that we're storing here, which if it is, we know that we've got a new set of data, and then we can delete out all of the data and then we can replace it. But it will make more sense when we come to implement it in the action flow editor. So I'm just going to hit create. Now at first run here, I need to kind of set a default date here, otherwise we're going to get these kind of warnings in FlutterFlow. In fact, I've just got one up here. So we need to set a kind of a date and time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of go back to, I don't know, 2018, and I'm just going to set a date on here and a time. It doesn't really matter, but I'm just going to set a date a lot older than the data set that I'm going to have within inside my table.